Hey guys, we are going to be going over your final project today, and you'll be taking notes and submitting those notes. I just wanted to kind of give you a demo. So you've done research for two images, and yesterday you also did a comparison where you took the two images and you compared them to each other. So the two images I chose are The Death of Marat by David. Um, This is a French painting done during the French Revolution. This is one of the people that kind of helped the French Revolution move along. And depending upon your opinion, he's a good guy or a bad guy. He was stabbed by somebody who didn't like him. This is a self portrait by Vincent van Gogh. If I was to do the first 2 days of research, what I would say about this is that there's lots of really bold lines, actual outlines. There's lots of blues compared right next to yellows. So I got warm and cool colors. I have these like really kind of organic shapes that are much smoothed out, kind of like that, and a lot of lines. Um, I feel like the message here was a self examination. You can even see some details about his room. Here, the message is a focus on this person and his work, right? The details are way smoother. We do have a lot of organic lines and shapes, not very many outlines. They're really dulled down. If you notice right here, we have like a really light brown outline. And that the message again for this one is a focus on this individual and their death. So now that I have these two images, I'm going to compare them to each other. Um, we do have some similarities on like the wraps on the head. We have a focus on two people instead of like a landscape or something. Um, this doesn't have very many blues at all, but it does have a lot of yellow tones. So we see those yellow tones in the skin. Um, but they do have a lot of darker areas as well. So here's a lot of dark colors. This one obviously has a lot more dark colors than this one. The subject is very much about individual people. So if I was to combine these two, I could keep the subject about individual people. I might change the colors to be a little bit darker, but maybe keep the saturation. So I'm not going to tone it down and make it kind of gray. So like the saturation, this one's really high. And if you look over here, these are still really saturated. So if you think about on your camera when you take a photo, you can move the saturation up and the colors get really bright and bold, and you move the saturation down, colors get really gray. So I probably want to keep those colors. So now that I've compared these two images, I'm actually going to combine them into an image of my own. So here's an image of my own. I took the actual visual image of Van Gogh's head. I could have just left it with Marat's head and it would have been fine. This still would be a good assignment to turn in. But I took the image of Van Gogh's head and put it on the body of Marat, the dead guy. Um, I took that really yellow skin color and I kept that. I took the lines, the really like type of lines that Van Gogh uses, and I kept the subject of the bathtub. I changed the blood to come from the ear instead of a line right here. And I added things like a paint palette and things like that. This was not in either of them, but I thought it kind of was a good thing to add, that it would kind of add to the story. Um, yeah, so I combined the two. Now, this is quite a lot of time that I put into this. Let's take a look at yours. These are the requirements for a 4. Combine two different styles of art and added your own personality and ideas. So if we look here, we got Van Gogh, we got The Death of Marat, and I added some details that made it interesting for me, and I thought that told the story better. That's a level 4. Um, let's take a look at level 3. Combine two different styles of art seamlessly. Cool. My art is fully finished and stray marks are cleaned up. Awesome. Spent at least 90 minutes. Now, I had a simplified version of this, which I lost. Sorry. That would have been closer to 90 minutes of work. To get a 4, you don't have to do more than 90 minutes of work. To get a 4, you have to add details like this, right? That's what a 4 is, where you're making the image your own and you're adding your own details and you're kind of That way it's like a combination of 3 people's ideas into one. You're taking the 2 artworks and then your own idea and you're mushing them all together. That's a 4. Okay. So you combine the 2 styles of art. It's fully cleaned, nice details, and you spent at least 90 minutes. Okay. So if you notice, I didn't say here that you spent 3 hours for a 4. I said that you added your own personality and ideas. Okay. So the jump between a 3 and 4 is actually not that big. It's probably an extra 20 minutes to get these extra ideas in there that are your own and kind of spend some more time planning than you would have to here. For a 2, combine the parts of the styles into different art pieces. So if I went and I said, I think I'm going to take this really smooth style and that's it. And then I just took this image and I just smoothed it out. That would be a 2. I'm not really representing the other artwork super well. I'm not bringing any of the color saturations or the shapes or anything that makes this painting what it is. None of the subject matter or anything. Instead, I'm just taking one little piece and I'm applying it. That would be closer to a 2. The other thing that makes something a 2 is I spent 50 minutes on my project. That 40-minute difference makes a huge difference. That's where you start adding all those details, make things interesting to look at, all that. 1 is combining parts of the styles with active help from a guardian or teacher, or spending 20 minutes on your project. So if you just turn in a sketch of something. So now that we have this cleared out, what is expected, let's go over your actual choices, right? You guys have limited supplies. You don't have everything available in the classroom. Some of you do. Some of you have more supplies than I have in the classroom. What you're going to need is a piece of paper, right? If you want to paint, you can paint. That's fine. If you want to use color pencils, that's fine. Make sure you're using your burnishing techniques, your gradient techniques, all those things. If you want to try the digital art, all of you have access to Photoshop and Adobe Fresco and all those applications. Sketch Photoshop is actually really useful. It can be done on phones. But if you don't have a stylus, it can be kind of difficult to just like draw all these details with your finger. So you want to use those tools, you can. Let's say that you just want to stick with a piece of paper and a pencil. Then you have to start thinking a little bit differently. So tomorrow you guys are going to be doing your thumbnails. If you're just sticking with a piece of paper and a pencil, when I look at this, I can't look at it with all the colors because I don't have colors. So I have to look. Okay, I have this kind of textured background. I have these dark areas here. I have these like nice gradient shading. Okay, let's look at this guy. I have really dark colors next to really light colors, which means I'm going to have really dark shapes next to really light shapes. So if I was to draw it, now I can focus on dark shapes next to light shapes and all of those other details, right? I can still draw a paint palette. I can still draw a box. I can still do all those things using my basic shapes, which this was drawn with basic shapes. It wasn't traced. I can use all those things with basic shapes to communicate my idea. This doesn't have to have color, right? If you don't have color, you won't get docked, right? But it is a little bit easier to do this with color. So if you want supplies, you know what you want, you need to email me or message me right here on the inbox. Send a message to me and tell me what supplies you want, right? So if you want paint, probably not going to be able to get that for you except for maybe a watercolor paint set. But I won't be able to send a big bunch of acrylic paints home because I only have these giant bottles. So if you want paint, you're stuck with watercolor. If you want color pencils, I can get you color pencils. Tell me what colors you want, or if you just want a basic Crayola set, what do you need, right? If you need white paper because all you have is lined paper, please contact me. Let me know. I will set up a day where I will be available at the school. I'll set up all those packets for you, and I will do that on Monday. So contact me over the weekend. Let me know what you want, and we'll get that going. For today, the assignment, which has been outlined, What I need you to do is to take notes on what I just told you. I'm going to summarize right here to make it really easy for you. First thing, you need to compare two pieces of art. So take your time doing your research and doing a good job comparing. Second thing, you then need to start planning, which is what we're doing tomorrow, on how you're going to combine those two pieces of art together. So tomorrow I'll have a example of thumbnails between The Death of Marat and Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait. Third thing I would like is for you to put any questions you have into your notes so that I can answer them right away, or email me. And if you need specific supplies like color pencil or paint, you need to email me and I will have them ready for you to pick up on Monday. Okay, again, let me know if you have any questions or if this was super confusing, and then we can clarify things. The last day you will receive any assignment from me is May 22nd, which is the end of next week. Then you have until June 3rd to turn in any late assignments. Even if you have an IEP after June 3rd, I cannot help you. Okay, so if you have an IEP or if you need an extension, we've ended class on the 22nd and you basically have 2 weeks, a little bit short of 2 weeks, to get things in. That's the extension time. We've given everybody an extension. So you have 2 weeks to get stuff in. If you are done with your assignments on the 22nd, you're done with this class. Congratulations. If you are really struggling and you're behind in other classes, your parents can contact me and tell me that you've chosen to focus on math or science or English, whatever you've chosen to focus on, and that you would like to not have your credit counted for this class. That's called an NC grade. They did send out an email to all parents about it. And what that will mean is that you won't get any credit for this, but it won't hurt your GPA. So let me know if you guys need to do that. Remember, your parents have to be the one to reach out to me, your guardians. It can't just be you. So you have to have them email me. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the notes that you're going to take, or you can leave me a comment. I do read them all. I love you guys. I hope that you're safe and looking forward to being done with school, because hopefully you have some fun plans. I know that I've had quite a few students go camping and it looks like really fun, and I'm a little bit jealous, but that's okay. I will miss you guys and I love you guys, and I will be talking to you soon.